Alright, disclaimer. This is a personal YouTube channel. Any views or opinions represented in this YouTube channel are personal and solely belong to me as the owner and do not represent those people, organizations, or institutions that I or may not be associated with in professional or personal capacity unless explicitly stated. Any views or opinions are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, or any individual. Alright, good afternoon everyone. Are you there?
Yes, Brooke. Good
Ma'am.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, Brooke.
Can you hear me alright? Alright. Before we start, can you please turn on your cameras, please, so I can take a screenshot? So our university is actually quite not strict, but they wanted us to always have a screenshot every time we conduct classes. So I'll take a screenshot. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you. You may turn off your camera or you may turn it on. It's up to you. Um, All right, so for the record, also I want to tell everyone and I want to inform everyone actually that this class session is being recorded, actually already recording right now. It's been recording since I think 30 minutes ago. I just want to make sure with that. Um, Again, for your attendance, kindly state your afternoon greetings in the chat box. At the same time, please give us your consent. So you may state video recording, consent, or I am allowing the recording of this class session. We need that for your consent in this class recording. So time check, it's 1:01, I think. Let's go ahead with our class session. So, apology, we were not able to conduct classes last 2 weeks ago. It was actually a schedule. We actually had a schedule on the first week. The reason for that is the teaching load was given to me also on that same week. I think it was given to me Saturday or Friday. And of course, as we all know, it's also quite hard and it takes time to reach out to students and to group ourselves for our class. However, um, do not worry because we will have a makeup class for that. At the same time, the graduate school actually already set the schedules for makeup classes, in which that will be one of the things that we will be talking about in a few minutes. All right. So this subject is entitled environmental impact assessment. All right. So again, this is MEP 204. As far as I know, environmental impact assessment. So today, there will be actually a lot of topics, not a lot, but a few that we will be discussing for the whole afternoon. But before everything else, let's discuss the class policies and lecture topics. Before that, let me introduce myself. Also, later on, you will also have the floor to introduce yourself. So I am Pearl Aphrodite B. Carnice. Currently, I am assistant professor too. I graduated with my undergrad in our university, Eastern Visayas State University. I took Bachelor in Environmental Science. I graduated last 2011. Um, at the same time, I actually enjoyed a few scholarships under our university. I was I enjoyed from first year to third year a university scholarship for performing arts. Um, it's funny because when I say this thing, some people actually don't believe me that I was part of the performing arts before, but that's when I was younger. I don't think I'm gonna be doing it now, and yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be doing it in any part of my succeeding years in my life. But Yeah, and then at the same time, during my first year, second sem, I started. It was a time that I enjoyed also a full scholarship under the university as one of the top din sister from first year to fourth year. And then after my graduation, I did my master's right away. I went to Visayas State University. I took Master of Science in Soil Science. My minor is Tropical Ecology. At the same time, I also enjoyed a scholarship under the UST, Department of Science and Technology, under the program AST-HRDP Scholarship. AST-HRDP stands for um, Accelerated Science and Technology Human Resource Development Program Scholarship. If you are interested, you can actually just Google out the scholarship. However, our university is not one of the selected universities that offer this kind of scholarships. There are only, during my time, I think there were seven universities all throughout the Philippines that offer this kind of scholarship. But I think today I think there were added universities. I think it's already 11 universities that offers this kind of scholarship. But anyhow, in the future, maybe if you want to do, I'm not sure if all of you are MS students or PhD students. I'm not sure which. Later I will know that later on as you introduce yourself. But in the coming years, for example, you're a master student and you would like to do your PhD. We actually have a lot of scholarships in the Philippines with the graduate studies, and one of which is the OST, AST, With the engineering, the way I see it, since this is MEP is under the Master Science in Engineering, the way I see it, engineering is actually not under the umbrella of ASTHRDP because it focuses mostly on natural sciences. But I think you will be under ERDP, that's engineering, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. It's also under the UST scholarship, but it's another branch that focuses on engineering. So I would encourage you to apply, search for it, apply if you're interested. You can do it with your PhD. And the good thing with scholarship is it's actually called a stipend. It's actually called stipend or allowance, but it's also for me as good as you are being paid to go to school because the allowance is actually good enough. During my time MS, we were given 15,000 a month tax free, no tax, and then we also have book allowance, commuter allowance, and travel allowance if you are living outside the region. Um, uh, during my during my time, I was not a UST scholar during my PhD, but when I was a PhD student, I had a few friends and classmates who were UST scholars. Their stipend was 30,000 peso a month. So it's like you are being paid actually to go to school, and then after such time, you will earn a degree with a diploma. So yeah, it's like hitting two stones with one bird. Yeah, but I heard this year, I think, well, if the government, I don't think the government cut out the budget for the UST, but I think for PhD, this year the stipend is actually 35,000 peso a month, and that's funny because it's bigger than my salary. To be honest, if you would like to ask me, if somebody would tell me to do another PhD, I would definitely do another PhD. Um, well, I like teaching. I love teaching. I'm still on the process on be. I'm still. I think having a skill would really take practice, and I'd say when it comes to teaching, you know, I still have a lot of room for improvement, and I'm still trying um, to that part of skill to improve, of course. In which I love teaching, but again, if somebody would offer me and another PhD with a scholarship, and the university would let me take another study leave, I would really do another PhD. But yeah, anyhow, so that's the scholarship I took with my MS, and then somewhere 2015. So after my MS, I applied in our university as a residential university as a substitute instructor. But I think after the evaluation, the university, I got lucky. The university offered me a a job, not as a substitute instructor, but as a faculty itself. So in which June 2013, I started teaching in our university. And then after 2 years, I decided that it's about time for me to do my PhD. So somewhere 2015, I think that was January, um, I went to UP Los Baños, in which it's actually the university where I took my PhD. I took PhD in environmental science, and my minor was botany. Supposedly, I was planning to have a double minor. So, of course, soil science, because that is my MS, and then botany. But something happened in between, and I don't know, I don't know, maybe I was too busy to take another exam for the soil science, for the compre exam. So I decided to take, the botany as a minor, only one minor and not double minor. And then during my PhD, I was actually enjoying scholarship under CHED. So the scholarship was Faculty Development Program 2 scholarship from 2015 to 2017. However, today that scholarship is already dissolved. They turned it into CHED. I forgot the term. The K to 12 something studies. Yeah, CHED K to 12 something studies. They renamed it that way to encourage faculties to do scholarship. They name it K to 12. It's not really only for high school, but it's actually for university faculties. But yeah, the FDP scholarship was dissolved, and I was actually the last batch for that. And then um, by give me a second. All right. So during my PhD, I was really trying to find a scholarship. Well, actually, I was not trying to find a scholarship, but I was actually trying to find a fund for my dissertation, which was, if I were going to total it out, it's actually like millions, because it's expensive to buy chemicals and analyze and have some materials and some so on and so forth. Originally, I applied for another scholarship under CHED, but at the same time, I also applied for another scholarship for Germany, and I got in on that scholarship. And then, just when I was finalizing my documents for those scholarships, I yeah, and then when I was ready to do the Germany scholarship, I was there's actually one of the benefits of Facebook. So I was scanning my Facebook, and I found an announcement from Fulbright that their scholarship competition was open that time, and they are welcome for applicants for their MS PhD and for PhD visiting researchers. So originally, again, my plan was to find a fund for my dissertation, but it ended up me applying for a scholarship for me to be able to conduct my PhD dissertation outside the country. So I applied for the Fulbright scholarship, and I guess again I got lucky again, and I was able to get one, in which by 2017 to 2011, I went to Florida State University under the Fulbright scholarship. So Fulbright scholarship is considered actually one of the prestigious scholarship in the whole world, I'd say. Um, and then, yeah, I stayed there for more than a year, and I did all my analysis, all my dissertation work actually in the US. And in the future also, if you are interested to apply for a scholarship, especially outside the country, there are actually a lot of scholarship, like Phil France is offering scholarship, Erasmus Mundus for the Europe, Fulbright for the US, Japan, Mombusho. There's actually a lot of scholarships offered, not only in the Philippines but outside the country. All you have to do is Google them and then try to find which scholarship or which country are you interested to apply with. And yeah, that would be awesome if you are really interested to apply. Um, yeah. At the same time, it's not also, well. I'd be honest. When I went to the US, for example, of course I did not um, just stay in my lab and work and work. It's actually my advisor, my principal supervisor, my foreign advisor actually even told me to do not. He always say like, do not stay late in the laboratory. There's more to life than doing your PhD. I was like, okay, okay, but of course, us, especially us Filipinos, we always have this characteristic. We always have this attitude that before having lectures and some sort, we always try to work on the thing what that we are supposed to do. So yeah, during that time, what I did is I constantly work in my laboratory, and then there were a lot of times that I sleep in my office because in the US, for example, if you are a PhD student, you actually have your own office. In every library that you go, you actually have a space. You have a little room in a library if you're a PhD student. Yeah, there are a lot of perks actually if you are going to study outside the country. And yeah, there were a lot of times I stay late. I sleep in my office. I work until 4 5 a.m. until the sun rises in the laboratory, because there are cases that there are analysis that you can actually not leave them, or if you can leave them, yeah, but you have to come back on a specific hour. So yeah, aside from my academic journey aside from my academic journey, um, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. Yeah, so aside from my academic journey, um, I actually love traveling, but as we all know, it's pandemic and we cannot really, go outside our region, or over the Philippines or outside the country. But that's one of the things that I love to do. And then all through, I think since college, it's been on my box. It's been on my list of goals to have a YouTube channel, in which I think that it was last year. I think it was last year when the pandemic started. That yeah, I was like, yeah, you just graduated with your PhD, so I guess it's about time to do your one of the go back to your list and do the things that you would like to do. And yeah, it's one of the things that I was able to do last year. But I'm just not sure if I can keep up with that YouTube channel though, because I don't know, it takes a lot of time. And of course, as we all know, there are many other functions as a university faculty, not only instruction, but of course we have to do research and extension and some other functions. So yeah, basically those are the things about me. Um, so basically, my office or consultation hours is 1 hour before and one after the class time. But since there is no face-to-face classes, hence, if you want to clarify anything, if you want to talk to me which relates to our class, you can set an appointment. All you have to do is email me. Oh, by the way, our department is actually located in the Natural Sciences Department office, in the third floor of the science building. So anyhow, my email address there, my official ABSU email address is on the slide. Yeah, if I can actually give you my cell phone number. Um, but if you will be calling me, please send me a text first and introduce yourself, or else I will not answer you. I If you call me, I will try very hard to answer you. If you will text me, I might not be able to um, reply to you, because most of the time I actually don't have a load, because I'd rather put my load in buying data than putting load with texting and messaging, because FB Messenger is actually effective in calling or messaging someone. So yeah, my cell phone number, you can write it down. My cell phone number is All right, that's my number. Um, later, in after this slide, you will be introducing yourself. So let me just go on with the remaining class description and class policies. Okay. Okay. So let me move on to the course description. So EIA, or Environmental Impact Assessment. This course explores interactions between human activities and natural or human man-made systems, linking them to be the concept of environmental and social cultural sustainability and environmental impact assessment procedures. So at the same time, it focuses on the procedural requirements of the EIA system with an emphasis on the Philippine setting. So at the same time, also this course aims to provide graduate students or professionals understanding of what is EIA, and of course, you should be confident in its applications and limitations. Um, the general learning outcome of this course is actually to provide the basic knowledge on the theory and practice of environmental impact assessment. So basically, I took three AIA subjects during my undergrad, during my MS, and during my PhD. Um, Supposedly, I'd say EIA should be 6 units because in which later I will tell you what will be the major requirement of the subject. But anyhow, at the end or during the course, you should be able to apply on the processes of the EIA, or I'd say you should be able to prepare the EIS or the environmental impact statement. Since this is only a 3 unit course, you would still be needing to comply or submit the EIS, the environmental impact statement, in which later I will be discussing that. However, since because of the pandemic and this is only 3 units, you actually don't have exactly to go to that specific. For example, if we will be selecting a certain study, you don't have to go to that study area itself, but everything will be based on assumptions. You will be getting your data. It's either you can get it primary data if you can get a primary data, or else everything will be secondary data. And if we cannot still get, or if there are cases, I'm so sure we can get secondary data, but if it's not possible, then we can make assumptions. So yeah, basically, you should know, or you should um, comprehend the basic knowledge and theory and practice of environmental impact statement, especially in the Philippine settings. At the same time, as early as now, of course, I would like to tell you that EIA is actually not only practiced in the Philippines; it's actually being practiced all over the world. So we have 7 learning outcomes. So first is to discuss the ecological, legal, and institutional justification of EIA, establish the baseline conditions, assess environmental impacts, develop the environmental management and monitoring plans. Fifth, prepare the environmental impact statement, or the EIS. Of course, understand the EIA review and process. And the seventh is know the nature and process of the issuance of the Environmental Compliance Certificate, or ECC. So it's actually 7 learning outcomes. You might say, it's a lot, but actually, it's actually very easy to it's actually very easy to attain, because as we go on with the learning topics and as we go on also with our discussions, I can assure you that all the 7 learning outcomes is that tangible and very attainable. All right, so let's go now to the lecture topics. Uh, Give me a second. All right, let's go now to the learning topics. So first is, of course, the orientation, in which I will be giving this as an assignment. The EBSU mission, vision, and goals and objective. I should write it down. Um, Later tonight, I will be sending about the assignment on this one. And then, of course, the graduate school mission, vision, goals, and objective, and the course overview, in which that this part This is actually one of the things that we will be talking this afternoon, the course of review. And then, of course, Unit 1 is the introduction. So we will discuss basic concepts of EIA. We will also discuss theory and principles in EIA. We will define historical development, so on and so forth. We will also discuss legal basis of EIA. And then for Unit 2 is the methodological aspects of EIA. So we will discuss EIA methods like screening, project EIA process, and scoping. At the same time, we will also discuss excuse me, approaches to data collection for baseline information, specifically on physical environments. Excuse me, there are also other environments like focusing on social impacts. We will also be discussing that. And then economic analysis of impacts. We will also discuss impact prediction and impact evaluation. Next, we will also discuss impact assessment. We will discuss how you will be designing your environmental management plan or EMP. And then we will discuss the participation, presentation, and review of your EIS or environmental impact statement. And of course, we will discuss on how you can do your environmental monitoring and audit. On the Unit 3, this is actually on field work, but since we don't have a field work because of the pandemic, um, as I said earlier, most of your data will, if you can get a primary data, yes, go ahead, you can do that. But if not, then therefore all the data will be secondary data. Yeah, so data gathering, data analysis, interpretation, and presentation, and of course the EIA report presentation. Next is designing an environmental management plan or EMP and an environmental monitoring plan or EMOP. And then of course, reviewing and evaluating an EIA report. And of course, the last one is the EIS report presentation and of course the finals. As you can see in our learning topics, there's actually no midterms. So we will be doing our major exam on the finals. So our main reference is actually the revised manual um, for the DNR Administrative Order number 30 series of 2003 or the DAO 0330. The title of this revised procedural manual is Implementing Rules and Regulations of Presidential Decree number 1586 or establishing the Philippine Environmental Impact Statement System, which is under the Environmental Management Bureau, EMB DNR, which was revised in April 2007. This is actually This is actually downloadable, but later I will be sharing through a Google Drive with this manual. Um, Also, I will be sharing other documents also related to our subject through Google Drive later on. I think after our class, this afternoon or this evening. I those are our learning topics. Just a self check. Do you think we can satisfy our learning outcomes with the following lecture topics? Before I'll take up the schedule, do you think? Can anybody answer? Um, yes na lang, ma'am.
Well, Prof, the way you talk about your being a courageous student, maybe we can attain that.
Okay, thank you for answering. Actually, if you will look back on the learning outcomes, all of the learning outcomes are actually stated in our lecture topic. So, yeah, the way I see it, even though it's 7 learning outcomes, it's just that it's specific. That's why there's a lot of them. Basically, in a subject like I usually have like 4 learning outcomes. Um, it's just I just made it in a specific way. That's why there's a lot of them. There's 7 of them. But if we're gonna go back to our learning topics, all of the 7 learning outcomes are actually stated in our learning topics. So, yeah, I think it's very attainable. Yeah, but yeah, thank you for answering. So for the requirement, we only have 2 requirements for this subject. It's actually very easy to get past this subject. Not only getting a passing grade, but of course, getting flat one, because why not? So requirements is written exam. Again, um, in graduate school, usually I do not give objective kind um, of exam. I usually give out discussion discussion exam. I would not call it as an essay because for me, when you say essay exam, it's more of at your opinion. And since we are scientific and we are doing graduate school, I would like to call it as a discussion exam, because I would like you to have your answer not based on your opinion, but based on the things that you learned from our class, based on science, based on fact. And if of course you can have your statement on that, but of course you will always have a um, a support to your answer. So it's not again merely based on your opinions or stipulations, but of course it is based on fact, based on science, and with of course a scientific support. And of course the EIS report submission and presentation. Environmental impact statement report is the only document that you will be preparing as a group and not as individual. Take note, as a group and not as an individual. Um, yeah, so yeah, those are the only requirements that you will be needing to pass the subject. I'd say not only pass, but to have an excellent grade. All right. Do you have any questions so far?
None so far.
None so far. Sure na. Let's go now to the grading system. Um, if you would like to ask me, I would always want to reduce the major exams. It's always it's 40%. However, sadly, I cannot change the 40% for major exams. It's because it's actually a university policy. Before I change it, I reduce it into 30%. But I was I well, I was not reprimanded, but the the I'd say the higher up suggested that major exams or the grading system, we should stick with what is stated in our university code, in which major exams are 50 and the rest are quizzes, performing. I forgot the term, but yeah, there are specific terms like performance, task, and some sort. Yeah, but definitely major exams should be 40%. That is why in our grading system, major exams is 40%. And then you can see the EIS paper is 40%. And then we will have few quizzes in between, and of course, recitation or report. The recitation or report, the one that I'm talking about, is actually in connection to your EIS report. So yeah, so those are again, there are only two requirements for this class: is the major exam, which is a written take-home exam, and of course the EIS report, both in paper and both reporting or presentation. However, what I usually do to make it easy to calculate, I actually do it this way. I know for sure, like most of you, or maybe all of you are engineers and you're really good with math, but when it comes to calculating grades, I usually do it this way for me to easily calculate and add up points. So yeah, I equate it into a point system. So major exam would equate to 200 points, so that's 40%, and then the EIS paper would equate to 200 points. The quizzes would equate to 50 points, and the recitation would equate to 50 points. Overall, that's 500 points. As we all know, for you to get a passing grade, you have to get 75% out of the 100%. But take note, that is not the passing, or yeah, in the grading system of 1 to 5, that is the passing, like tres is the passing. But for graduate students, it's well, for EVSU graduate students, it's 1.75. But during my time, it's usually dos. So it's usually 2, but I I was I think, I don't know if I was notified officially or I just heard it verbally. I'm not sure, but as far as I know, graduate students in should be able to get at least 1.75. So 1.75, I think, I'm not sure. I think that's 85 or 90%. I'm not sure. But yeah, so um, again, you should not get like 75% points, but you should get above that. You should get like 85 or 90% um, of your grade. In which actually I put here upper limit and lower limit of the points with an equivalent final grades. So for you to get at least 1.75, I think it's somewhere here. You should be able to get 453 to 458 points. That's actually quite easy because if you are going to perfect your written exam, which is, written exam should always be perfect for me because, it's take home exam. Um, like you can have, more time to answer it. But me as a student, because of course I'm a student, I'm still a student, I think, because I'm still learning. But during my PhD and MS, I actually don't like take home exams because my professors, when they give out take home exams, it's like a kind of question that's quite almost hard and impossible to answer, or it's actually answerable, but it would take you time to study, and it would take you time to read again your notes and read again other references for you to be able to answer the question. So if you'd ask me, I would still go for the time limit exam. Yeah, but anyhow, in our case, it will be a take home exam, and but do not worry, it will be a kind of question that for sure you can answer. So that's 200 points. It's it's given like it's 100. It's 200 points for the exam, and then for sure, of course, since it's a requirement, of course you have to do your EIS report as a group. So that would, for me, considered as perfectly 200 points. Um, with the assumption that you will put an effort in writing your EIS report. So that's already 400. So you need more like 50 to get 1.7, 53 points. So of course you'll do good with your reporting. So that's like 50 points. And then of course we will have quizzes in every class session. So that's like, yeah, you can like, get a flat one. At the same time, I'm actually the kind of faculty that do not limit in giving out grades. So there has been a lot of students that got flat one with me, with the undergrad and with the graduate students. Um, be, because we stated the grading system, and if you can get perfect, and you can get 500 points or more than 500 points, because usually I gave out incentive points. If you can get flat one, then go ahead. I'll give you flat one. Um, I'm saying this because I have few experiences that there are actually professors that do not give out flat one, because for them it actually equates to them as the professor. Like no student can uh, level up with my intelligence. Of course, nobody can level up your intelligence because you're a professor, and there are, as of the moment, you're a student, so nobody can level up to that. Um, but for me, that's why we have a grading system, because grades are based on the grading system, and if you can get flat one or more than flat one, if there's a grade of 0.5, I would give you a 0.5 grade, sure. But yeah, I would encourage everyone to do good with your 40%, which is your exam, and of course to do good with your EIS paper, which is also 40%. But actually, if we're going to add it up, it's actually like 50%, because with your report, that's 10%. So 40 plus 10, that's 50%. So yeah, I'm expecting everyone on this class to get a flat one. So come on. All right. So attendance will be checked, but this is actually not very applicable to us right now because of the pandemic. So there will be sitting arrangement, but there's no sitting arrangement. All you have to do is be comfortable wherever you are. But according to our policy, students who will incur 3 unexcused absences will be reported to SASO for disciplinary measures. But we will be very lenient to that. And, absences is considered excuse based on this reasons, um, which is also stated in our policy. But again, we will be very lenient with that. So basically, I would like to use Moodle as our learning management system, but the good thing is there are only few of us. So I think there are only 5 or 6 enrolled students as of now in our class. Um, I don't know if you've heard, but the adding and enrollment for this sem was actually extended up to April 10th. So if you would like to add more subjects, or if you would like to drop subjects, or I don't know, whatever you want with your subjects, you can still do it um, up to April 10th. We received the memo just this week. So again, we will not be using Moodle because there are only few of you, so it's actually easy to manage. So all submissions will be through email, through my official EDSU email. At the same time, we have our FB group chat. I would like to tell everyone, I'm sorry, but we have to make our group chat neat as much as possible. So the group chat is actually for announcements, for polls, and for reactions. If you have any clarifications, if you have any questions, please send me an email. I will try very hard to answer your emails as soon as I can. Um, just do not forget to have your email subject so I can see it right away. Um, I actually reply to emails, as soon as I can, as I said earlier. If after 3 days, if after 72 hours, you still did not get any reply to me, then you can send me another email. But yeah, I can assure you as much as possible, I actually reply to my emails as soon as I can. So, of course, everyone is expected to be honest, and any student caught cheating will be given a grade of 0 for the quiz, exam, or problem set where he or she is caught. So again, in your since we don't actually have much of paperworks, the only paperwork is your EIS. So in your exam, in your written exam, please do not copy paste it from the internet, because I will be using a plagiarism checker for that, and I will definitely know if you just copy pasted it from the internet. I would suggest for you to rephrase it, and I would really suggest to state it in a way, the way you understood it and the way you would like to answer the question, and do not copy paste it from the internet or from the books. Yeah. All right. Do you have any questions? Um, do you have any questions so far? So basically, that will basically those are the major activities, the major lecture topics. It's basically how our class will run all throughout the semester. Do you have any questions so far? None so far. All right.